You may not be able to see me. Is my voice reaching you clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It is indeed a privilege and a matter of delight for me to join you at this social roundtable and talk to you about some of my ideas on the future of human capital management. I am speaking to you from India. My name is Sandeep Apte and I am right now in the city of Pune, which is in the western part of India. Before I really get into the main subject of our discussion, which is the future of human capital management, let me start by congratulating you on two counts. The first is to congratulate you about one event in the past. On April the 25th, this weekend, you would be celebrating the Liberation Day. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Yes. Now I am right now talking to you from Pune, which is from the state of Maharashtra. Okay? 70 years ago, in 1945, some of my brethren from the Maratha Light Infantry played a little role in the liberation of Italy. The reason I bring this up is, when you look back at the past, there is a certain sense of wonder with which you can look at human phenomenon, especially on the time dimension. 70 years ago, this land of ours, Maharashtra, was connected to Italy. Today, due to the wonders of technology, my voice is reaching you. And when you look at the future, you'll see that there will be further changes, yet people would come first, and how people connect to each other would matter the most. There are four key aspects which I would like to highlight when one looks at the future of human capital management. The first one, which I already highlighted, is it is important to have a perspective which has a sense of wonder about the past. Is the voice clear, please? Hello? David?
Yes, it's perfect.
It's perfect?
Yeah.
There was some echo feedback coming back. Shall I continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, there is a sense of wonder which is very, very important when one looks at the time dimension, especially when it comes to people. Today, we live in a globe which has shrunk. Technology has made this globe, this earth of ours, into a global village. And we connect with each other in numerous different ways, which was virtually impossible in the past. There are four key areas which I'd like to highlight and which I would invite you to look at with this sense of wonder. The first area is that of commitment. Let's look at the present and understand this example of commitment. And that is where I'd like to say, congratulazioni. When I look back, it was my friend David De Palma a few years ago when he got in touch with me and invited me to contribute a chapter to this book by People Come First, Why Human Capital is Important for Organizations. The aspect that struck me the most about David was his sense of commitment to this particular enterprise. A very committed David got in touch with people from all over the world and got them to contribute chapters, and which together formed this wonderful book called People Come First. To my mind, it is a book which should be a regulation text for people, especially students of HR. Commitment is essentially about physical, mental and emotional energy that you bring to a particular area. As I speak to you from India, I was told by David that there are not many people from India or even Asia for that matter who are participating in this roundtable. Am I right when I say that? David?
Yes, you're right. David is not here physically. He's out of the room.
We in India, and when you look at India and China together, we constitute 37% of people on this earth right now. Okay? So when you look at human capital, you clearly see that human capital is concentrated in this particular part of the globe. Another phenomenon which is again a sense of wonder is, as a nation, India is getting younger every day. By the year 2020, our average age would be just 29 years old. Today, the challenge for India, and to my mind, also the challenge for the world, would be how to harness this human energy with a sense of commitment to a particular goal of working towards a better life for all human beings across the globe. The second aspect, the second key competency I'd like to highlight is something that I call contextual sensibility. This is about being in touch with the environment in which we work. You know, as we work, when we come to work every day, there is a sense of routine. Things keep happening around us. It is important to be in touch, be sensitive, because a lot of change is happening in what is otherwise a very humdrum, routine, day-to-day existence. Changing values, changing trends, changing cultures, and it is in this very ordinary language that human resource faces its key challenge. Understanding what is happening beneath the surface, being in touch with it, and highlighting areas which would take people ahead holds the key. It is an important challenge, especially for leaders all over the world, in all kinds of organizations, to be in touch with this phenomenon. I'll offer you an example. Very recently, just last month, in fact last fortnight, thousands of people were evacuated from Yemen, and this happened as a complete, wonderful exercise. The third area that I'd like to talk to you about is learning and adaptation. It is about being informed about what is new and what is changing with the times. Now, being informed. You know, the word information has developed a very narrow understanding in today's world of computers. Okay, information is usually understood as data. However, information is actually about giving something a form, informed. Okay? Lend it a particular character. Imagine if you're playing a particular character either in a play or in a movie, then you bring it alive, you embody it in a particular way. Okay? In this context, it is important to understand that there is a dramatic change that has happened in the recent past. Not very long ago, we lived in a world which was analog in nature. You remember the radio sets which had valves and tubes inside it? Today we live in a digital world. This transition, okay, I'd like to highlight two key aspects of this transition which are extremely important. One is, in the analog world, experience mattered a lot. Your life experiences and how you looked at the world helped you in navigating the world around. In today's world, it is your ability to bring a beginner's mind to look at this world afresh is what makes the key difference. For example, if you look at some of us, we struggle with social media. It is very difficult for us to understand the nature of this new medium, stay in touch with it, deal with it, interact with people all across the world. We need to learn and we need to adapt. In an HR context, social media is particularly important because again you can pick up those very changing trends, those very changing values far better through social media, either in a spatial context, in terms of what is happening across the globe, or also in a temporal context, what is happening right now. Also, another transition from the analog to the digital world that is important is the specialist was an important, being a specialist was very, very important in the analog world. Knowing something more and more about a smaller domain was extremely important. In today's world, however, it is important to be what is called a deep generalist, understanding the broad nature of phenomenon and looking and seeking insights into those phenomena so that one can learn and adapt and bring about change and transformation. The final competency which I'd like to highlight is in terms of the perspective. Looking at this world in terms of the world being a global marketplace, somewhere the perspective has to shift from being just a marketplace to being a place where we live. Just recently, India, okay, which is still a developing country and by no means a rich country, we launched the Mangalyaan, a space shuttle which is right now orbiting Mars. Clearly, even India has a perspective which is going beyond our terrestrial globe. We need to understand this and look at the entire globe in its entirety. If you look at phenomenon, especially in terms of what is a very popular phrase today, something called corporate social responsibility, where organizations tend to take up different causes and work towards them. Or even if you take ecology and the environment, where organizations are trying their best to in some way or the other make a difference and make this world a better place. Organizations need to also come together and work towards redefining our place in this universe. In India, we had this very unique perspective on reality. Ages ago, centuries ago, some of the sages of India defined the nature of truth or the nature of reality in a very special way. They said, there is only one truth in this world, that which is true in the dimension of time. What which was true yesterday, what is true today, and what shall remain true in the days to come. It is this reality, it is this nature of existence that human resources should gather their energies and work towards. With that, I'd like to thank you very much for having given me this opportunity.
Thank you.